Hello and welcome to another episode of What Travis Says. My name is Travis. Let's talk about Doctor Who. More specifically, let's talk about the new episode, The Pyramid at the End of the World. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I enjoyed this episode a lot more than I did Extremis. So, if you have not seen The Pyramid at the End of the World, don't watch any more of this video because there will be spoilers. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I appreciate when Doctor Who episodes are unpredictable yet make sense. I mean, some of the lab parts didn't make logical sense, but we'll talk about that in a bit. And to be fair, there were some parts of the episode that were a little predictable. But I did not watch this episode by myself, and I didn't want to possibly ruin the ending for anyone else, so I wrote my prediction down on a piece of paper during the episode. 9 minutes! I wrote this prediction 9 minutes into the episode, which reads, "Little moments are going to lead to the end of the world, and the Doctor is going to need the monks' help in order to prevent it." Which is partially correct. And there was my tiny issue with that not being how biochemical research labs actually operate. Labs should sterilize everything going into the air, don't remove any part of your suit for any reason once you're inside, and don't bring any biochemical material outside of the airlock at all. But it's all chalked up to going on some bender the night before, breaking glasses, all these little moments leading up to all these mistakes. We're only human. The idea of the monks wanting informed consent is strange because for wanting informed consent, they sure don't give a lot of information on what exactly that means. But as I said last week, this being a multi-part story means that we don't have all of the pieces just yet. The development of Bill is still happening in an interesting way. She's able to deduce that the pyramid is alien in origin. And that dead as the moon line, this episode was co-written by Peter Harness, the man who wrote Kill the Moon, so that line was pretty spot on. But that also explains why this episode might not be the most scientifically reliable. And the ending where Bill gives up the planet in order to restore the Doctor's eyesight, that was very tense. We knew that Bill was not going to die or be vaporized into dust like the others, and that she gives it out of love for the Doctor, so her motives are pure. But are they really? She's doing it because she's afraid that the Doctor is going to die in his own explosion. She's doing it out of fear for losing the Doctor. Which also ties into another slight issue. The monks obviously don't want a dead moon planet, so why are they waiting for us to give consent before taking over? Because if they wait too long, everything on the planet is going to die. Which also ties into another slight issue. The monks obviously don't want a dead as moon planet, so why are they waiting so long for us to give consent for a takeover? They don't want a dead planet, but they want to wait for consent, but if they wait too long, they're just gonna end up with a dead planet. Sure, they obviously don't want an uprising after the fact, but do you think that they felt a little worried and they just took Bill's offer at the end just because they didn't want to end up with a dead planet? Even though her motives weren't entirely pure, they just went along with it because they didn't have any other choice. Once I realized that this episode wasn't entirely what I predicted 9 minutes into the show, I was very entertained. The episode kept me on my toes. The misdirection of war was nice, having all of these people in this basic war room trying to figure everything out using teamwork. And the companion sacrifices the entire world to save the only man she thinks can save it. That is my kind of cliffhanger. I like that the sonic shades were hinted at having faults with screens during the entire episode, and that the Doctor finally told Bill about his eyesight. And I guess Bill and Penny are just unable to have an uneventful date, be it in a simulation or real life. And if this really is the cure for the Doctor's blindness, I don't think anybody saw that coming, but I'm not so sure that all of those threads are tied up just yet. And the monks said that this is the form that they've chosen to be more human, which that statement by itself is just wildly out of the park. But it's not their real form, so will we be seeing their real form in the next episode? And what's up with Nardole and his cheap lungs, and why is nobody checking on Nardole? Is the contamination still going to happen? Doesn't the TARDIS have some sort of filtration system? Maybe? Now, as you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of Extremis last week. I felt like the majority of the episode just didn't matter. Some of you in the comments disagreed, which is fine, but after watching Pyramid, I still believe that Extremis just didn't really matter that much. Except for the parts with Missy and the parts of the vault and the ending where the Doctor warned himself with the sonic shades. it just didn't really have that much of an impact. Sure, the monks were doing a trial run takeover, but do you really need an entire episode devoted to this is a story that's happening, and at the end, oh, JK, it was all a simulation? I mean, let's be honest, aside from the Vault and Missy, you could skip Extremis and watch Pyramid and not really miss too much. And another thing I said in last week's video is that I was sort of confused why the TARDIS didn't translate the Pope, and a lot of you said that it was because it was in the simulation. But if the monks have an entire record of human history, they should know that the TARDIS translates any language nearby. It's obviously been to Earth enough times. And if the Doctor's sonic glasses are able to transmit information outside of a simulation, the TARDIS should be able to translate a language. And of course, it's part 2 of 3, so we don't have all of the pieces yet, so maybe things will be a little more solid once we get to the end of the story. And Missy is not in this episode at all. No Missy, no Master, no Vault. So, do you think Missy's gonna be the one to swoop in and save everyone next week? Or do you think they're gonna pull a Rick and Morty and that the situation that they're currently in is also a simulation? The Doctor tricks the monks into thinking that they actually took over the world when in reality it's a simulation inside of a simulation inside of a simulation inside of... And at least that way, Extremis would make a little more sense with the storytelling. In the end, if I was in Bill's shoes, I would totally trust the Doctor into digging humanity out of this monk mess. I mean, sure, the Doctor is playing cleanup for us again, but it's better than us having a dead Doctor and the monks still looming at the door. In the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on Pyramid at the End of the World. Did you love it? Did you hate it? I know that opinions about this episode are pretty split down the middle, but I want to hear your thoughts on why you loved it, why you hate it, and what you think is going to happen in next week's episode. As always, my name is Travis. Thank you for listening to what I have to say, and you will see me tomorrow.